a look. I feel like people are ready to go over this, so I'll just go over it.
Thank you.
Okay, so first, let's go ahead and sketch it. So if I go, let's see, right 1 and up 2. So I'm just going to pick some points here. And I'm going to go right 1 up 2 for each of these. Right 1 up 2, right 1 up 2, right 1 up 2, right 1 up 2. And then we'll draw on the new one. Everybody kind of get that part?
Yeah, I went about it a little bit differently, but yeah.
Yeah, and then there's this one. So here it's best to kind of, again, pick your points. 4, 2, there we go. And then this one they're saying shift it left 2 and down 3. Left 2, down 3. Left 2, down 3. Left 2, down 3. Or you could have done the, once you find your main point, do, I think what you're doing, which was over 1 up 1, over 4 up 2.
Yeah, yeah.
That totally works. Just take your old center, find your new center, and then from there go the over 1 up 1, over 4 up 2. That absolutely works 100% as well.
Okay. But I like yours because if you forget that, you can just use that on each point.
Yeah.
That's actually easier.
It is easier, but either way is good. If I said sketch it without giving you the first one, then you'd have to do your way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Good. Now, write the equations for these. All right, so right 1 up 2. So we're going to have right inside where x is. So x squared. You folks got this one. You said right inside where x is. We did left 2. So left is on the inside. And remember, left means opposite. So we're going to do plus 2 from the outside, down 3. I feel like everyone got that part. This one is similar. But inside where x is, you got to put parentheses around this. Like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, mine's further down.
So think about if you always did the parentheses. If you did the parentheses around this one, then maybe that would have helped you with that one. If you kind of get in that habit. But so everybody should do this one now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so go ahead and
Okay.
maybe figure out what goes inside of here. We're shifting right 1 and up 2.
Yeah, I had
Inside
forgotten
goes
the
the outside.
form on the, on the left one.
What was that?
I forgot the form on the left one, like how,
Yeah. Yeah.
Then I was thinking it was like the one where it was like a fraction, where it was like on the top and then the bottom was shifted to the left and then outside,
Right, if you just think about x as having parentheses around it, I would say maybe do that. Put parentheses around x, and then include whatever should go inside with inside, then parentheses with it. Maybe that makes more sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you just put parentheses around your x and then just include whatever you should have, then you're kind of good. All right, so the inside, right 1, that's on the inside. Remember, the inside is the opposite, so right's going to be minus 1 on the inside, and then on the outside, up 2. Okay, great. And I kind of wanted to look at some problems I had. Some problems that I had before. So here, like, for example, this problem here. It's not on your sheet, I don't think. But, yeah.
Can I get a calculator?
So see, yeah. So see if you can sort these ones out. Solve, they say solve for x. Remember, solve for x is, you can only solve for x when we have an equal sign. So we do have an equal sign, so that means you can solve for x and say x is this. So, I got it. Step is getting really radical. You got to get it out. Okay, so let me ask you this. Let's do a basic one. Let me prove it to you. I've got square root of x plus 1 equals equals 4. Okay. So someone give me a number for equals something. Someone give me a number for x. Just give me a number. What should x be?
2.
Oh, actually, let's pick something that we can square root easily.
4.
4? 4 plus, oh no, 4, okay, 3. So we'll say x is 3. Right, x is 3, everybody on board? X is 3, this becomes 4. Yes?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it's square root of 4.
2.
2. So if we solve this, x should be 3. Does everyone understand what I'm saying?
Oh,
If I put 3 in for x plus 1 is 4. Square root that, you get 2.
mm-hmm.
So if I solve this, I should get x is 3. If I move this over first and subtract 1 first, then I get square root of x equals 1. What's the square root of x? If I square both sides,
Okay.
Yeah, then you just get
I get x equals 1. That's not right. X is 3.
uh,
Does that make sense? So you can't do that.
okay. So you gotta get rid of that.
So first one, we're going to square both sides. So if I square something, I square root it, I just have what's inside, x plus 5. That's the whole point of squaring it, so we get rid of this square root sign, the radical symbol. And over here, negative 4 squared is 16. And then we're going to subtract 5 from both sides, right? Because,
Did I copy it down wrong, or is it a different problem?
Is it
You had
negative
originally? I thought it was -1.
oh no, oh that's why, okay. So then over here you get x equals, and then 16 minus 5 is 11. So David, is that what you got?
Yes.
Yeah, good. So David got it right, that's nice.
Yes. Well, the other question, the one was different though. So are we doing that one, or? I thought it was x plus 5 minus 1. Square root of x
Oh,
plus
I think,
minus 1.
I think the thing is the 4 looks a little bit like a 1.
On the original one?
Yeah,
Are you sure?
if you look at it, it looks a little bit like a,
Oh,
it looks a little bit like a 1.
oh man, I copied it down.
Because it's
wrong.
darker, does that make sense?
No, I copied it down. wrong.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, no worries,
Thanks.
it's all good. All right, so then we'll look at the next one. So here you gotta get the radical by itself first. So first you gotta divide both sides by 3. Draw my little successor. So I'm gonna divide both sides by 3. So then I end up with square root of 4x plus 1 equals 5. Now I have to square both sides to get rid of that square root. So then I end up with 4x plus 1 equals 5 squared is 25. And then how do I undo this? I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. So then we have 4x equals 24. Divide both sides by 4. And you end up with x equals 6. All right, this last one over here, first we're going to, how do you undo a cube root? You cube both sides. Right, so over here we'll end up with 3x plus 6 equals 9. And so then I need to get rid of the 6. Subtract 6 from both sides. And you end up
6 times
with
3 is 27.
Oh,
Yeah.
sorry, to the third power. Oh, thank you so much. My bad, 27. See, we all make mistakes. So, and then I end up with 3x equals 21. And then last, you're going to divide both sides by 3 to get x equals 7. Good. Okay, so now we're going to look at some different problems. This is similar, but not the same. Actually, it's quite different. So now we have some squared values. Okay, we have, so this is 4x squared plus 13x plus 10 equals 0. And remember, when we equal 0, then you can solve for x. Okay, so this one, maybe do this one first. Oh wait, they're different. So this one up here, you have the extra step, right? Because the number in front of the x squared is not 1. So if everybody kind of remembers this one, you do the x, right? The diamond, and then you,
Oh, we're factoring?
yeah, we're factoring,
Oh, we're not solving.
right?
So that's where the second one says, right, but the first one's threw me because it says solve for x. But since it's 0, then you can just factor it?
I'm sorry, what's the question?
Well, the first one says solve for x
Yeah,
instead
same
of
thing.
factor, but, you know,
Oh, so I guess you could, you're right, you could use a quadratic formula if you wanted to.
oh, okay.
You could use that, because I didn't specify. So you can use any method you want. Yeah, so you could totally use that one. So here's this first one. Remember you have that diamond method, right, where you figure two numbers multiply to 40
Yeah.
and add to 13. And you gotta find that, but that's just your first step. Then you have to do the box method after that.
Yeah.
I think that's how you folks did it. Right? After you find those, move it over so it's one line with everything else. So just remember, the first one goes in the first spot, the last one goes in the last spot, and then these two numbers here tell you what the x values are that go in here and here. What times x. And then I'll write down the other problem so you have it. Other problem is x squared minus 9x plus 22 equals 2. And here, it's important to note that it does not equal 0 yet. So you got to fix that, right? You got to realize that. And that's what might trip you up on the exam. So we have to here's the thing. We don't have a regular ordinary x in this time. If we had just an x, we could solve this. We have an x squared. So we don't know how to solve this. But we can take advantage of the fact that if we have a times b times c equals 0, what do we know about a, b, or c? 0. What do we know about them? A times b times c equals 0. What do we know?
One of them has to be 0?
Yeah, one of them has to be 0. One of them must be 0. So, if we end up with something like this, we know that either x minus 1 equals 0 or x plus 2 equals 0. Either one of those will do for us. Either one of those will end up with giving us, either 0 times something equals 0 or something times 0 equals 0. Either one of those will work, and I'll get a true statement. So my goal is, with these guys, is to get them in this form, something times something. Right? So we have to factor them into, to get them to something times something equals 0. That's our goal. That's what we're trying to do. So what did people find for 40 and 13? Two numbers that multiply to 40 and add to 13. Did anybody find that yet?
8 and 5.
85.
85? And I think you all have done the box method, is that right? Okay, so we have our box, we need to fill it in. So what goes in the first box?
4x squared.
Yep, the first thing,
Mhm.
4x squared. And the last box goes the last thing,
10.
the 10. And then this 13x, we split that up to 5x and 8x.
Yeah.
So so these two go in there. 5x and 8x. It doesn't matter which order they go in, either one. And then we have to sort of figure out, what numbers multiply to give us, let me try to get this so I can kind of show it better. What two numbers what can I factor out of 4x squared and 8x? Write that here. What numbers can I factor out? You know, kind of work it that way. What can I factor out of these two? What can I factor out of these two? And then kind of what's left. Because remember, this plus this times this has to give me that. So I'll let you work on that one. And then don't forget to do the bottom one too.
Do you have to keep going here to try to solve?
All right, so remember, once you factor it, you know that either this part equals 0 or that part equals 0. So then you can solve. Right, so here I would say, okay, how do I solve for x? I'm going to add 1 to both sides. So here x would equal 1.
So you do separate.
Yeah, and then over here, I'd subtract 2 from both sides. So then here x is equal to -2.
Oh, so x isn't equal to 0.
No.
X is equal to 1 and -2.
Yeah, because when x is 1, this becomes 0. 0 times something is 0. That's true. When x is -2, -2 plus 2 is 0, so then something times 0 is 0.
Oh, okay. I was trying to get the x equals 0 somewhere, and it was just
Oh, yeah,
throwing me.
no.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
Okay, so let's figure this out. You have, what can I factor out of 4x squared and 8x? You said
4x.
4x, great. What can I factor out of 5x and 10?
5.
5, good. And then, what can I factor out of 4x and 5x?
1x.
Yeah, x, perfect. And what can I factor out of 8x and 10?
2.
2. So then I gotta do a double check. Does x times 4x give me 4x squared? Yes. Does 2 times 5 give me 10? Then I'm good. We've got it. So here's is going to be x plus 2 and 4x plus 5. We're not done yet. Now we got to break them out into the pieces. So we're going to say that 4x plus 2 equals 0, or 4x plus 5 equals 0. So here I'll just subtract 2 from both sides. I'll get x equals -2. That's pretty easy.
Yeah.
The other ones I got a couple steps to do. First I got to subtract 5 from both sides. So 4x equals -5. Divide both sides by 4. X equals -5/4.
Right.
Good?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so do the one below. First, you have to set it equal to 0. Otherwise, you can't do anything else. The very first thing you have to do, it has to be equal to 0, because that's the only way that A times B times C equals 0. Then you know that one of them has to be 0. But it equals 2, right? Then that doesn't tell me anything about A, B, or C. So first things first, get this equal to 0. How do we do that?
-2.
Subtract 2 from both sides. Now you have x squared minus 9x plus 20 equals 0. Now you can go ahead and solve, do your x, and go from there. And the beauty of it is, since there's no number in front of the x squared, you don't have to do a box. You just go straight to your parentheses once you finish the diamond.
Okay, so did
So then you
they
can,
do something?
You get the same thing, so it doesn't matter. Missed a lot, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Was the set it equal to 0. That was the hard part. And that's the part what messes you up on the exam, is if you
Yeah.
don't set it equal to 0, it all falls apart, right? So here you need two numbers that multiply to 20, add to -9. So that would be
-5, -4.
-5 and -4.
-5 and 4.
Add to,
Oh, yeah, you're right, -5.
no, -5,
Yeah,
-4.
oh, okay, yeah,
Yeah, because they have to
yeah, add.
multiply to 20, so they both have to be the same sign.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
And then they add to -9. Okay, so this is good. So then you go straight to x minus 4 and x minus 5 equals 0. Then you have to break them down into pieces. So then you have x minus 4 equals 0. X minus 5 equals 0, which means that x is equal to 4. That's one answer. And x is equal to 5. That's the other answer. So that's your the final answer. Okay. Now I'm going to show you my best magic trick. Okay, to folks at home, we'll give them the next problem to look at. So this is the next problem to look at. This is what we're going to be doing next. So here, right, find the vertex of the function. So it's going to be, remember how the vertex, it's h comma k. H is -b over 2a. Do you remember that one? And then you find that helps you find your vertex.
On the final, you're going to be giving us all these equations like we did in the last step?
Yes.